You've been living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world as it exists today.
I don't believe it. It's not possible.
Is it really so hard to believe?
Stop. Let me out. Let me out. I want out.
Bitcoin putting in some really nice constructive price action, continuing our exponential rise in price. Bitcoin is continuing its parabolic rise. And this is exactly what we've been discussing on this channel, is that when you take a look at Bitcoin and you compare it to the textbook parabolic curve pattern diagram, you can see that Bitcoin fits right into it. And we've already had the creation of base 1 at the 15,500 low. Then we had the creation of base 2, and now we are in the creation of base 3. According to the parabolic diagram, suggests that Bitcoin could either continue to go up now, or we could slowly but surely trend up and to the right for the next couple weeks going into May before getting a major punch up to base 4. And a lot of people have been wondering, they've been asking me, Kev, what is your price target for this? Because depending on how you place this diagram over the chart, sometimes the result in terms of the final sell point price changes. And so I'm not necessarily too focused on guessing the exact price, right? People want to know, what is the exact price target, all this stuff. That's not really what I care about. What I care about is using this diagram to tell me if the Bitcoin trend is intact, right? And so Bitcoin, in theory, could just continue to go up from here, or it could even break down and retest lower levels and still remain within the parabolic diagram, and we could still maintain parabolic structure. Even with a test back towards 25K, things would still be good to go. And that's really what I'm going to be using this for, just confirming if we have the structure or not. And one thing that I'm not going to ignore is when Bitcoin breaks the structure, wherever that may be. It could happen sooner, it could happen later, but wherever Bitcoin breaks the structure, we have to respect that breakdown, and I'll tell you why. On Twitter recently, I released this chart talking about Bitcoin's historic parabolic trends. And in this chart that I'm about to pull up, you can see that there is 1, a primary parabolic trend, and 2, there is a mid-cycle parabolic trend. And these exponential trends are powerful, but something we should never ignore is the breakdown. Now let's look at the chart. When we're looking at Bitcoin, you can see that whenever there's a major bull market, we have a primary parabolic trend like 2013, a primary parabolic trend like in 2017, and then what you also get are mid-cycle parabolic trends like in 2019. And right now, it seems like Bitcoin is in a mid-cycle parabolic trend until proven otherwise. And this is the weekly line chart. One thing that's very consistent about all of these trends is that as long as Bitcoin is maintaining the parabolic trend line, it means that we have a lot more upside that can come in the future. But whenever we see the breakdown, whenever the price crosses below the parabolic trend line and we get a breakdown, that is not something to be ignored. Even in 2021, we broke the parabolic trend line pretty early. In 2021, we came down and it looked like maybe the trend was going to continue, but it didn't. So every time we get a breakdown in the parabolic trend line, it is the final signal that the trend is over, and it should not be ignored. The most similar comparison we have to what Bitcoin is doing now is 2019. And even in 2019, when we broke the parabolic trend line, the trend was over, right? We had to wait until the next halving. And something similar is possible even if Bitcoin hits a really high price. If we break that trend line, we may have to wait for the halving to really go bullish again. So we cannot ignore when the trend line breaks down. For now, Bitcoin appears to be very constructive, and we have so much room to, wiggle around while still maintaining the structure. And the way that this diagram is laid over the chart right now, it suggests that we have somewhere upwards of, 48K or 50K for the top sell point, depending on how you overlay it. But the reason why that's significant, in 2018, if you take Bitcoin's chart and you fib from the highest high to the lowest low, the target of that run from the high to the low was up here at the 618, just below 14,000. That was the target right there, the 618 Fibonacci extension. So if you think about that, right, where does it come in for Bitcoin now when you fib from the highest high of the cycle to the lowest low? Let's bring it all the way down. You fib it from the high to the low. The very interesting thing is that, look at this, the 618 comes in right here, just above 48,000, right around where the diagram would suggest you have a sell point. So I would say the more realistic sell point is going to be at the 618, 48,500. That is going to be the most likely sell zone, right? Basically, we've seen this happen many times in Bitcoin history where we reach the 618 and that's the end of the run. I know that a lot of people are just going to assume that the only thing I'm expecting is Bitcoin to go to 48K and that's it. Well, no. All I'm doing here, guys, is I'm just using the parabolic curve diagram to tell me when the trend is over. And the parabolic diagram suggests that we can go upwards of 48,000. But in fact, where I think the top is going to come in is wherever we break the parabolic trend line. It could be sooner. It could be later. But that's really the main signal for me. When the trend is your friend until the end of the trend. So wherever the trend breaks, that is where the top is going to be for me. And that's where we're going to be looking for consolidation before the halving. And that's when I'm looking for more upside for Bitcoin. So that's really as simple as it has to be. Just watching the parabolic trend line, and that'll be the signal for me. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Also, if you want to support this channel, join Patreon. In Patreon, of course, we're doing crypto as usual, but recently we've also been doing other things like looking for other opportunities in emerging markets, such as the electric vehicle charging infrastructure, which is likely going to see tons of growth in the near future. And I called Hypercharge Networks at 50 cents just 5 days ago, and we're up over 400% in 5 days on that call. So if you guys want crypto plus maybe some other opportunities outside of crypto, join Patreon. That's what we're doing now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next video.